Всем привет.
Hi, everyone. Glad to see you.
Дня насыщенных докладов. Вы крутые, кто досидел
So
здесь
you're
и все с
cool.
нами.
Some of you have been with us throughout the day, and I think it's you who deserve an applause. Let me applaud you, and you can applaud yourself. We'll spend the next half an hour in a discussion about the Russian virtualization market. And you'll see that there are a lot of myths, and there's also reality, and it's the reality that we're going to talk about. My name is Dmitry Gorokhov, and I work for JET Infosystems, and JET is a large SI. And my name is Olga Borovskaya. I'm lead engineer for information security, and I'm responsible for the security of information infrastructure. And so it turned out that we have put together, as part of one presentation, both the infrastructure and security. The content is going to be quite unique. Who's responsible for IS, for information security in your company, and for the infrastructure? Any people? It looks like there are more IS, and the rest are developers. Please wave a hand. Hooray. Okay, let's go. Myth number one: Russian virtualization is just a wrapper over open source. Works poorly, slowly, a real shame. Let's try and dispel this myth or get it confirmed. I talk a lot with customers, and they ask us what to use to replace the leader that we've had in our infrastructures, a VMware that is deeply entrenched in everyone's infrastructure. And we ask, what are you really using in VMware? Here's the requirement document. And then there's this requirement document with 100 lines of small type. But when you start talking with customers in more detail, the story becomes much simpler. Everybody wants to have a centralized management console so that we could just manage our infrastructure, so that we should have GUI, so that we could connect the networks, repositories, and also have some APIs so that people could use it as well. Another thing that people are expecting of the virtualization platform is so that our workloads could move between servers without downtime. It's vMotion, storage vMotion, so that our systems should work all the time, regardless of where they are located. And most importantly, there are smaller customers and bigger customers. There are always features for more advanced people. Sometimes the joke goes that you need some folders for VMs, but actually there are quite a lot of other tasks. You can talk about network virtualization, storage virtualization. Let's see how it looks. In actual point, the important point of this whole story is that our virtualization platform needs to be just up and running. Why so? Because VMware is just reliable. So what does the market show us? We've been doing this for 3 years now, implementing these infrastructures with our customers, and I'll share our experience with you. So let's take a look. Let's first align. What are we going to align about? So if it's open source, then, you're welcome. Nobody carries responsibility. But we're talking about Russian products, and I'll play the role of Captain Obvious. So what does the Russian product have? Vendor, they're charging money, selling it, and when they're getting the money, they're investing in the product, they're writing documentation, and provide technical support. So they do everything that turns even an open source product into some kind of a product. And what do we encounter in real life? With there being huge problems in terms of security, that is the problem that result from the products being untested. So here, I'd like to have it confirmed from you. How many such products do you believe there are in Malta? Okay, let's guess. Who believes that there are 10 of them? Let's build it up. 20. Okay, I'm not going to torture you, but if if we open the Ministry of Digital Development Registry of Russian Products, 70 plus items. There were 48 last time I checked. Had I been a kid in the Disneyland, I would have been pleasantly surprised, to put it this way. Let's see what we can choose from. First story: open source versus non-open source. As a hypervisor, they use KVN. It's some hypervisor, Russian, non-Russian, open source, but it's Linux. Chemo KVM. Nobody knows anything about it. And then we are trying to draft the lanes to describe what is available in reality. We studied all that in our labs. And we have proof for that. So what do we have? These lanes are shown here not in terms of importance. I will just share with you what interrupts with what, and you can think about this. So the story goes not in terms of importance. Viet is an open source product that has been long committed in GitHub, and by 2022 we saw that to become quite a mature solution, and you could just use it. It's a simple server virtualization, what is a centralized management point, a graphical user interface, and you can make all functional actions regarding network management from this GUI. The vendors are shown here. I'm not going to talk about them, but if you open a console, and they'll look very much like the other. And then we start finding out who's investing more, who's implementing additional features, who has some additional virtualization platform. Okay, next line. Nebula. Some vendors, when we came up with the question of what can we replace VMware with, and they said, here we are, here you are, these are the products. And then they didn't have a lot under the hood. And there are things that were turning into vSphere in some kind of a private cloud. So there wasn't anything about serialized automation. It can't replace your system of centralized management, and an administrator, you'll just be having a hard time. And when guys started using Nebula-based products in 2022, they broke their teeth, so to speak. So it appeared that it didn't fit as a replacement for VMware. Proximus next. I love it, but it's for small infrastructure. I think everybody brought up a lab, was looking for a solution how to run a lot of machines at the same server, and so Proxmax is at top. There are only two vendors there, which means that the expertise to support and develop the product is not accumulated, and the market is low. You won't be able to find hundreds or thousands of virtualization nodes on Proxmax. So it's a niche story. It's for small organizations like 5 to 10 physical hosts to start virtual machines. Going on, OpenStack. The guys here have been talking about it. They have whole workbenches on OpenStack, but OpenStack is about really big virtualization platforms. Top banks have been building infrastructures on OpenStack, other people. So if you want something simple to be able to assemble it in OpenStack, you have serious technical competency, because under the hood, OpenStack has dozens of open source products that you need to be able to make work together with, and how to and the updating procedure of OpenStack leads to a situation that you build the same twin of this platform next to it, and try to figure out how to do it in production. Going forward, Virtuoso, it's a commercial product. Some time ago, Russian companies were starting with it. The roads parted ways, but nevertheless, the story remained. The history of these products is such that these products are built as a Russian hyper-convergent platform. So what I'm talking about, everybody believes that there are servers and there's a data network and it all works. Hyper-convergent is about physical servers with disk, and then that's it. Then you put the software level, you build software-defined storage. So trying to build a Russian hyper-convergent product is like such an analog to this kind. Are there such vendors? Well, on the whole, it's usable, but I haven't seen large installation. And the last one, there are companies who build their own centralized management systems. So something similar to a VM vCenter that turns several servers into a pooled set of resources. These guys are doing their own job. They are trying to build their own, something of their own, which means they understand things under the hood. But in fact, in actual fact, it turns out, well, they're not VMware. You have to write a lot. The teams are small, and it takes a lot of time to release features. So what would I like to say? There are also another 5% of the market when it's not about KVN, it's about Zen. When somebody uses Hive, for instance, but actually these are niche products that haven't found traction with our customers. As a result, the myth, open source or not open source. In actual fact, there are products based on open source, and it's not a good or bad, because if it's a mature open source product, you can take it and use it in your own infrastructure, getting support. But there are also vendor-based products, and that's cool, because there are a lot of solutions. I would say that we don't have a technology leader that VMware used to be. So each of the products I mentioned has its own peculiarities, and my message here is that you have to make a technology-based choice. So technology-based, it's not yet VMware. But this said, by the summer of 2025, we've already got a circle of leaders that is starting to win prize winners' places by the number of installations. So there is a choice. What's important, we all got used to the fact that it has to work. So ask your colleagues who already launched those, deployed them, ask them what really they have under the hood, which problems they can solve. And let's now switch to the security. Let's talk about security. There's a myth that the security of the virtual infrastructure is something you don't really need. It's enough to protect physical servers. Let's find out why and how you need to protect your virtual infrastructure. There are 4 compliance areas with requirements for the protection of virtualization and regulation. Stack 2021, ZKF Order 95. So there are these documents listed in the slide. And each regulation defines its own rules of compliance verification. In FZ 184, we consider 2 forms of compliance. First, tests, acceptance testing of the system that uses our security tools. But here we're running into risk that something can go wrong, which can lead to the results not being accepted by the regulator. Why so? The whole procedure of running such tests is poorly regulated.
Можно воспользоваться вендорскими
Here
рекомендациями,
you can
например,
use vendor
запросить технические
recommendation,
условия.
for instance,
В нашей практике такой
shorten
подход
the
используется
technical
реже, поэтому в
requirements.
дальнейшем мы его
In our
обсуждать не будем.
experience, this approach is not
Воспользуемся
used
вторым
broadly, so we're not
подходом.
going
Это
to discuss
обязательная
it. So we're going to use
сертификация
the second approach,
решения
that's mandatory
в системе
certification,
сертификации
the
в Stack России.
certification of the
И на
solution as a
выходе
whole
мы можем
in
реализовать
FStack.
технические меры, связанные с
And
виртуальной
as an output,
инфраструктурой,
we can implement
двумя
technical
способами. Либо
measurement
сертифицированной средой
related to the virtual
виртуализации,
infrastructure in two
либо
ways, either with a
несертифицированной
certified
средой виртуализации с
virtualization
наложенными
environment or
сертифицированными
non-certified
средствами защиты
virtualization
виртуальной
environments
инфраструктуры.
with overarching
Все реализуемые меры
infrastructure
направлены на
security
нейтрализацию актуальных
means.
угроз.
All
И
these
на данном
measures
слайде
are there
представлены
to
те
cover
угрозы,
real
которые
threats. And this slide
могут быть
shows real-life
актуальны
threats
для вас,
that can
если
be
ваша
relevant for
инфраструктура
you
используется
if
технология
your
виртуализации.
infrastructure
По сути,
uses
эти угрозы говорят
virtualization
нам о
technologies.
несанкционированном
These
доступе
threats
к
are
виртуализированным
telling us
сущностям или компонентам платформы
that
виртуализации, или же
unauthorized
об
access may
ошибках в
happen,
работе
or there are
самих
errors
защитных механизмов
in
виртуальной
the
инфраструктуры.
operation of the security
Для
mechanisms in the
нейтрализации
virtual
актуальных угроз,
infrastructure.
помимо механизмов
To
защиты
mitigate virtual
виртуализации, вне зависимости
threats,
от того,
apart
используется ли
from
наложенное или встроенное
virtualization
средство защиты,
security measures,
нужно использовать также и сторонние средства защиты, такие как
third-party
средства
security tools must be
несанкционированного
used,
доступа,
such as
сканируемости,
tools that
антивирус,
protect
SCM,
you
контроль
from
целостности, крипта и
unauthorized
участевой экран. На
usage,
самом деле, когда я
integrity.
нарисовала эту схему, она стала очень похожа и напоминать мне
In fact,
элемент
when I
печати,
drew
но я
up
вам обещаю,
this
мы сегодня распутывать этот
schematic,
клубок не
it
будем.
reminded
Основное,
me
что хотелось подытожить,
this picture,
межсетевой
but
экран в совокупности с
we're not
механизмами
going
защиты
to scare you
виртуализации,
further.
они
One thing we
принимают
would like to
наибольшее
mention
участие в
that
нейтрализации
the
этих же самых
virtualization
угроз.
security tools take the biggest part
Здесь
in
мы
the
прояснили
mitigation of these
те
threats.
меры,
Here,
реализация
we
которых
have reflected
ожидается
those
от выбранного решения по
measures
защите
that are
виртуализации.
expected
И
of
в
the
отличие от
chosen
приказов
solution
STEC,
to protect
в ГОСТе нет
virtualization. And
обязательных
as
мер,
opposed
которые
to
нужно
the FSTAG
реализовать.
decree, the GOST standard
Необходимо лишь
doesn't
набрать нужное
describe
числовое
measures that you need
среднее
to take.
значение
You
по 8
just need
процессам стандарта,
to
чтобы соответствовать
take
нужному уровню
to
защиты.
reach
И
a quantitative number,
основное
8% of the
различие
standard,
этих
to
приказов
achieve
STEC и
that.
ГОСТа
The
заключается
main
в том,
difference
что в
between
STEC
the
меры
FSTAG
описаны
decree
достаточно
and the GOST
коротко,
standard
часто возникает
is
из-за
that
этого у
FSTAG,
специалистов
the
двоякое
FSTAG document
понимание.
is
В ГОСТе меры
written
описаны
very
детально.
concisely, and there are not too many details, whereas the GOST standard is much more detailed. You know what? I don't understand these letters, but what's the difference between these documents in real life? Yeah, of course. The FSTAG decree has access management requirements, integrity control through segmentation, and virtual machine migration. In the GOST, we have such domains as event notification related to virtualized infrastructure and control, execution control. What does it mean? That there are tools to control the execution within the perimeter. And also, in the GOST standard, there are quite a lot of measures envisaged that are focused on VDI as opposed to the stack decree. As part of import substitution, we're seeing a lot of virtualization platforms, and they can be split in three groups. First, basic virtualization on a secured operating system. Basically, we recommend using these solutions in small installations, because in the case where one needs to run attestation or certification, one can get into a problem because the operating system itself or some additional clustering management system will stay outside. The second category is about secured virtualization platforms. These are virtualization platforms that include management tools, and they're run by the customer. And the third point, the same thing, but in the private cloud. It's important that we are not considering public clouds. We have STEC 239, 233 decree that says that remote access can only be provided to STEC employees. So public solutions provided from public clouds are not applicable. As compares to overlaying certified security measures, we have two solutions, one from VGate and the other one from double-slop. And frankly, the more certified virtualization tools appear on the market, the more often customers choose them. They believe that they can save them budgets, place in the racks, and be easier in administering. And in fact, it makes sense. But in real life, we see that there's a certain risk. You have to pay more for the security of this approach. In one of the projects, we encountered a decision to customer to use certified virtualization environments for different purposes. And that was my first experience working with certified virtualization environments. But I already had experience working with overlaying certified security tools of the virtual infrastructure behind the back. And I thought there wouldn't be any problems. So based on my previous experience, I would find all information in public sources, how these virtualization security measures implement this. But I didn't find this information, so I went further. I decided to consult with vendors. Because, again, based on the previous experience, I was sure that vendors of certified solutions surely know everything about compliance. And it turned out that I got more questions from them than I asked them. So basically, what they were interested in was how to correctly present these measures, what that means. That was a loss of losses. That was a complete shock for me. So the vendors of certified tools, firstly, had not had knowledge of the compliance process, but my schedule was, on fire, and we managed to find out ourselves which functionality these solutions had. So we went further. We decided to compare the approaches between certified and certified virtualization environments and overlaid certified security tools. The results are presented in the slide. Actually, the difference is not sizable, a few percentage points. And it turned out that certified virtualization environments are quite good. But what to do about the measures that they cannot yet cover? We either have to cover them using third-party tools or bypass them. For instance, we use third-party two-factor authentication system. These are additional security tools in addition to those that we need to protect virtualization. And in essence, this approach using a certified virtualization environment and a third-party solution comes more expensive than if you just use overlaid certified tools that include this functionality. Okay, let the certified virtualization environments lag behind as yet, but in our opinion, they're also less user-friendly in terms of management, administration. And Dmitry and I, as people from different departments, information security and IT, I have a problem of dividing responsibility for such platforms. And we're asking a question, how our customers will be able to split the responsibility areas in their case, because the virtualization platform is IT and security under the hood is already information security. And here I'd like to say, dear customers, don't hurry to get a integrated solution. Maybe in your case, it's still better to stay with overlaying security tools. Maybe the time is not yet ripe for integrated solutions. And now let's move to myth number 3. Certified virtualization is the magic pill that will solve all your problems with security and will be working in a stable way. In fact, I hear different opinions about that from both IT and IS. So what, Dmitry, do you, as an infrastructure person, think about that? What do you think about that as an infrastructure person? The story is quite simple. We come from different worlds, IT and IS. both, we try to find common ground. I understand that the virtualization platforms certified by STEC are growing in number from year to year, and it looks like it's convenient. Like for a product that's been certified, you can use it, you can go. But for me, as an infrastructure professional, what seems uncomfortable, what I don't like. So you're a large company, you've bought some certified virtualization platform, and this certified version has been given to you on media, documentation, another media, and installing this virtualization becomes up to you. And it lies in IT. It's a hard problem. So you just have to go through many steps so that the final end administration should find the distribution sets to install the system. What next? A long release cycle of new platforms covering virtualization. So the message was, all virtualization platforms have some drawbacks. Some have serious drawbacks, others not that serious, but nevertheless, it's important to get updates to these new platforms, to the new versions, because they can bring in some radically new functionality that will make our life better and easier. Or, as in the example, the vendor has added a system that could make the platform disaster tolerant. So, like for instance, to be rolled out onto geographically spread data centers. So, if it's a certified stack version, I will be waiting for the certified version for a much longer time than if not. Also, you can't read the documentation sometimes because it's easier to find the regular version in the internet, but for the certified version, you need to have this magic flash drive somewhere stored in a lock room. So on the whole, I would rather confirm that this is not the best, the most convenient way. The reality is such. What about yourself? Well, Dmitry, my understanding is the same. As I said earlier, that the security functionality in the certified virtualization platform is still lagging behind. And indeed, the cycle is very long, the update cycle is very long. From half a year, we have formulas which has hash sums. You get a new version, the hash sum will change, that will disable the stack permissions, and then a lot of time will pass until the control is passed. Of course, dependence will be lower if we use a usual virtualization platform with overlaying security tools. The only thing that you'll have to worry about would be that the updated version should be supported by the overlaying security version and hardening. Here you can use a way to improve the practical security so that these recommendations you could gradually put on top of your infrastructure. So what comes as a result? Let's draw the result. We used to have 3 myths, and it seems that myth number 1 showed us that a lot of new vendors are using open source under the hood. People say it's bad, but it's a given. If we're talking about more than microservices infrastructure, it's pure open source. Russian vendors all have some drawbacks, and you really have to test Russian products for their applicability to you. Create long lists, short lists, make priorities. But they said test them in your environment. What else can I add? The leaders of all these new solutions, the circle of leaders among all these solutions have already taken a shape. You could take a look at the revenue numbers, references. and ask the customers how it really works. And my final view as an IT person is that the presence of stack certification for a specific virtualization platform is not going to solve all your problems. And my opinion as an IS person is that stack will increase the problems. Also, you have to check your approach. Use the certified ways and pay attention at what exactly the solution that you have has been targeted. Question number 3. Is the virtualization environment that you're already using supported by the solution that you're considering? And also, if the solution can protect several virtualization platforms at the same time, if you have the situation, work through the question of working with the integrator, where the interoperation will be supported.
Решения, преднастроенные шаблоны политик безопасности. Это очень сильно упрощает процесс администрирования. И последнее,
This simplifies the administration process, and the last is the possibility to backing up components of security tools. Would it be like hot backing up, or if you any kind of fail-proof mechanism? This is can be secured by the architecture. What I want to say that definitely we have tons of content. We are doing a lot of technical meetups and conferences, and publish all the recordings of the conferences in the InfoSystem chat. Watch the video. In terms of the InfoSec, we have like tons and tons of materials. I want to say thank you. Thank you for being part of it. That's it for today. Thank you very much. Maybe this is not it. Maybe you will receive some questions right now. Yeah, and also vote for our presentation. My question is about backup. How do we isolate backup copies? If you're making backup copies by virtualization, I mean doing snapshots, then in fact this whole network is in one protected segment, in one VLAN, where we take snapshots from the virtualization environment. But if it's like a more of terabyte of the virtual, then it's recommended to do it from the operational. Then we install the agent into the operationals, and then the agent is in the same segment, and this would not be reliable. Do you have any solutions, like in maybe some virtualization environment that you can do there with a snapshot backup of the big virtual machines? And secondly, we were speaking a lot about encryptions and crypto. What do you mean by cryptography? Only backup or something else? Thank you. Backup cryptography or something else? In terms of the backup systems, they've been dedicated, like you said, like 2 terabyte. This would be probably limitations of the Russian systems of the backup. I've heard about that. I mean, no agent kind of mode. And in this case, I'm not like a super professional about the systems of backup systems, but when we would build the VMware and with backups, it would be possible to dedicate backup copies and hand them over to a separate network. Then you get like a the second interface, and we would pass on virtual copies on the dedicated network, isolated, you name it. I think there was a solution, like how it is done right now, I do not know. Igor was presenting recently, the chief guy on the reserved copies. Maybe he would be able to provide the answer. But Igor probably left his contact in his presentation, so you can look them up. You can check his recording and ask him this question. Unfortunately, Igor is on the fast track, and the topic with backup is quite a painful one. So if you have any questions about reserve copying, please find his contacts and ask the question. Anyhow, I think this is something we can resolve. When it comes to encryption, yes, Olga, can you add anything about encryption? Probably not. Like, what do we encrypt? Disks or network? Well, on the slide, there was a word cryptography. Also with your colleagues. There was like a means of a cryptographic protection. What did you mean by those cryptography means? It was about channels of communication cryptography, and this is basically installed on the edge of the perimeter of the organization. This is not about virtualization. Now this would be additional security tool. But not about virtuals and SKT. No. Yeah, it's like I guess like a transit solution. Dear colleagues, any other questions? If you have them. Well, then I remember we've had one question. And again, we want to give out the book to the best questions. Thanks a lot. Thank you for your attention. Let's give a round of applause.